Hey guys, welcome into episode 23 of Coffee and Chel, the NHL HUT podcast. I'm Sleeves, joined by my co-host Keso, and we'll start like we normally do. Keso, what's been going on? What have you been up to?
Dude, we just got back from the new Batman movie. Amazing, amazing. Everything I wanted it to be. Was super hyped for it. Definitely no spoilers. I was talking about it on stream. People were like, "Please don't talk about that on the Coffee and Shell podcast." But it was great. Something funny happened last night. There's this guy on my Twitch channel on Thursday telling me he's in Buffalo, and he's like, "Hey, you got to go to this restaurant in Pittsburgh. I hear it's really good." And I'm like, "Okay, what is it?" He tells me about it. It's like 40 minutes away. So I tell my wife, I was like, "Hey, we should go here this weekend, check it out." It has like 4.9 out of 5 stars on Google. It looks really good. The menu looks great. So we drive there last night and we get there and then on Google it says like, it's open from like whatever to 9 p.m. We get there and it's like in this like rundown building and it's just literally like not open. Like there's a little sign for it. You could tell that it's maybe it's open sometimes, but we get there, we drive 40 minutes, it's not open. So whoever that was, I hope you knew it was closed and it was like a joke and you got me because that would be hilarious. But I think maybe they were just closed for the day.
That
I
sucks.
hope that's the case. Yeah, it was kind of funny
Did you
though.
salvage it or what? Did you just turn around and go home?
Yeah, we well the thing that sucked, dude, is because we were far from our house and I was starving. Like we ate breakfast and then it was like, 6 or 7. So like I was just really hungry. So we were like, what about the Cheesecake Factory? Do you guys have the Cheesecake Factory in Canada?
We don't, but we might in Toronto. I don't want to say we
Okay.
don't have it at all. But I lived in Buffalo, and there is one in Buffalo. I've been a
Yeah,
bunch.
it's like it's very generic, but it's good,
Yeah, it's
Like
like a
it's a
step
chain
up from
that's
Applebee's.
yes. So we're
Yeah.
like, oh, we'll go there. So we go there. It's like a 2.5 to 3 hour wait. So I'm like, okay, not gonna eat. I don't know how it's a 2.5 to 3 hour wait. It makes no sense to me because it's not that good,
Yeah, and
you
not
know.
yeah, like
So we ended
I
up,
feel like that's got to be tough too, because like you have an hour, like everyone eats for about an hour. How many people are backed up that are gonna wait the hour and then go in and then eat? Like that's wild.
so my theory is that the workers there, the people that are working at the front desk, right, or
Yeah,
whatever, the hostess stand that they have
they don't want
there,
more
because
people.
they don't want a lot of people, right? Because there weren't a lot of people inside waiting, maybe like 10 people. I think they have like a game with themselves to like, hey, how long can we tell people to wait and they'll actually stick around? So like, they told us 2.5 to 3 hours, so that's like their max now.
Yeah,
And then like once that hits, the next person will be like 3.5 to 4 hours,
they're
and
like
if
no.
that person will, yep, yeah. So we end up getting like this good Chinese restaurant, the Sesame Inn,
Hmm,
in the North Hills in Pittsburgh for the
okay.
Pittsburgh people that listen to the podcast. Always solid. What about you? What have you been up to?
So today, usually Sunday, spend it with, we usually do something with my dog. So like last week, I had a nice little date with my pup, but this week, Skyla bought, so we haven't built our new fence yet. So my backyard, like the driveway, like goes into my backyard. So like she can
Hmm.
get out and she's still not old enough to, when she's off leash, be like, see ya. Like the second that she's like, you know what I mean? She takes, and
Yeah.
she doesn't go far. She sniffs and then, I walk up to her and she like looks at me and then she's like, right, like just runs away, like, but only like 10 more feet. Like I hate it. So she got her like a 50-foot leash. So we went to this big park near our house, and threw the ball around, let her be a dog a little bit. I feel like it
Yeah.
doesn't happen enough where you just get to run a ton. She's been kind of sick lately though. Full energy, eats all the time, drinks all the time. Nothing's out of the ordinary, but hasn't been going to the bathroom very well, if you know what I mean. So I'm taking her to the vet
Yeah.
tomorrow. So dude, I hate it because like literally anything's wrong with this thing. I love her so much that I'm like, she's like it looks like a glass to me, and I'm just like, please, 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 like everything be okay, like.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take her to the vet tomorrow. I think she'll be fine. I think she probably just is like needs like a dewormer or something. I don't know. Um, so
But you,
I
you guys had you got nice weather today, right?
dude, it was like 60
What's the
degrees,
Fahrenheit?
60
Okay.
Fahrenheit. It was
Yeah.
something else, but it was so windy, dude. Okay, would you take a hot day, but it's really windy, or like one where you gotta wear a hoodie, no wind?
What do you know? Wind.
Yeah, okay, let me ask you this: how much do you? Would you rather have it be rainy or overcast?
Overcast, 1,000%,
Dude,
right? You don't
overcast is
agree?
the worst. Bro,
I
I'm
know, but the
talking about you
rain
walk,
sucks.
dude. You walk outside, yeah, but at least you know. Like, it's a bad day. Dude, trying to do something in overcast is literally the most depressing thing ever. And not to mention, you got to wear sunglasses because you're doing, like, this the whole... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's so bright, but, like, it's not that bright and it's gloomy. I hate it. I hate overcast. I'd rather it just rain. Like, just rain.
Yeah. I mean, I feel you on that. We did the same thing this morning though. Not the we didn't have like a ball or anything, but we took Bella for a long walk this morning. So it was just great. And it felt good. Like I noticed like my wife and I, like our moods this weekend like improved tenfold because it was like yesterday we had like the windows open. It was nice outside. This morning we like woke up, had some leftover Chinese, took the dog for a walk. Like it was perfect. Perfect Sunday morning.
How is Bella? Is she crate trained?
She is, yeah. And
Okay,
she's
so
actually really good with
how
it.
often does she sleep throughout the day?
Um, how often does she sleep like throughout the day?
Yeah,
So 2 days a week she goes to doggy daycare, right?
we're thinking about
So
that.
yeah. So listen, let me tell you, it's great. Like it's just I do it on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and it's nice. Like those days I get a lot of like work done, whatever done. Like I don't have to worry about like, oh, let me get up, let me put her somewhere, whatever. Whenever I am home, sometimes I let her sleep into like 10 a.m. I get her up, I put her outside, and then Henry will be like either in his room or maybe he'll be outside and she'll be inside. And I kind of give her access to like the living room, and then like just like my like the hallway here in my room. So like I always keep an ear open, you know. So she sleeps straight through from like 11 p.m. to like 10 a.m.
Yeah, dude, like it's pretty crazy. Like some are always like she can only sleep in like hour and maybe an hour and a half long increments throughout the day. But
Mhm.
like 10 ish to like 7 a.m. she's like out solid. We bought her a new
Yeah.
so German shepherds are really bad with like chewing, like they bite everything. Like that's like one of the all puppies are, but German shepherds specifically are really bad with it. And we've had a really hard time. We have the biggest crate you could buy, so like the extra large dog size, so that
Mhm.
she can fit in there, stand up with. She can basically stand up with her ears not being like pressed up against. It's actually something to pay, like you have to pay attention to because you don't want their ears to not stand up. And like if they have a crate that's not big enough and their ears are forced down, it can like actually make them where they don't stand up all the way. So
Okay.
like somebody consider. Anyways, and I don't remember where I was going with this, but oh, we bought a. So we've been trying to find like doggy beds. So we bought her one that fits the thing dimensions perfectly. It looks comfy, but it was like a carpet kind of, and immediately tore it. Like first like time that we put her in her crate, and she just tore it apart. So I went and found. I was like, this sucks. She has this one blanket that she doesn't really do it to, so that's what we kind of use. But it just like it sucks because it's like a hard, like plastic bed that's on the bottom of the crate, right? We went and
Mhm.
bought this one from Kong, which is a pretty good dog like company.
Oh yeah, dude,
Yeah,
they're a great brand.
yeah, exactly. So I found this one when I took her to get her nails clipped at this PetSmart, and it's like it's not like Teflon, but it's like this material that you literally like you can't tear really. Like you
Yeah.
probably dogs probably she probably could if she really wants to and she might. But so we took her out for this walk, then we took her to PetSmart, and I got to bed for her with my wife, and then we went back home, and she was already pretty tired because we let her run around everywhere. Put her this thing in there, and I'm like, man, I hope she doesn't bite this and ruin it anyway, because it was like $120. And I look on the blink camera, so we have a blink camera in the crate because we have a crate cover. Do you cover your crate?
I do.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Yeah, that's how you have to do it. And yeah, pull up the thing. Me and Skylar are sitting down on the couch, and she's just like zonked out like within a second. I'm like, this looks so
Good.
comfy. I was like, okay, at least that's working for
Yeah.
her. Dude, so like I'm getting old, bro. Like there's just
Oh,
no
I
way
know.
around it, bro. So
I know.
I've been telling you like and everyone else, like I just haven't been feeling well. Something's not right. I'm just drained and tired all the time, no matter how much sleep I went. So I went and got my blood checked, and like everything's good except I have like high liver enzymes. I don't even know what that means, but I don't
Yeah.
drink really. Like I drink super casually. Like I don't like if I see my friends once a month maybe because it's like one of their kids' birthdays or something. It's essentially what it is, and maybe I'll have a drink then. But like so it's not that. So which is bad because if it was if I was drinking like a couple times a week then like it makes sense. So I got to go back get that tested. But like that's like a it kind of sucks. Like it's you're older,
What?
you don't know what's wrong with me, so
Yeah. What does that even mean though?
it
The
could
the
be a couple.
liver.
It could be a couple things. So like, you might not. You might have a bad reaction to like Advil and Tylenol. You
Mhm.
might have. I might be a thyroid issue still. Like I think that's what my problem is, but I have to go and get like that specifically checked. Could be something worse. I don't know, but hopefully it gets all solved. I go away in like 2 weeks, so I'm low key like excited, but
Dude,
I'm
I
not
think
really.
you need the recharge though. I really do. Like I
I
think you need the recharge and then like to not even like have Tyler post whatever he needs to do for you, right? Like have stuff ready. And I
Yeah.
think you need to get away. I think you do. Like it helps.
Yeah, like especially with what's happened over the last like month, you know.
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
excited for that. My wife is the one that just desperately wants to go away, but it's only because she like needs to travel like once a year, and I'm not big on that because I
Well, that's
usually.
how my wife is. She's in my ear every day. Like, I need a
Dude, that's what
vacation.
it
I'm like,
was. That's what it
yeah,
was. I was like, no, we're going away, and we're going away for like a convention that like I'm invited to from Rare Drop in Kings Coast to a big gaming convention they run. So we're going to like Orlando, and like we're gonna go to Disney World a day early, and then Cammy CJ his 30th birthday's in Vegas this year. We're gonna go to that. So I was like, why? Like, why are we going away? And then she, had was got
Well,
did
those
really
aren't
well.
really going away, you know. That's like, hey, I
To an
play video
extent, to an
games.
extent. But
Let's
that's the
come
thing.
tag
Like,
along.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing. Like,
I see where she's coming with it
yeah.
or
So
coming from.
I was like, no, I don't want to. And then she did a really good job at work this year, I guess, and got blessed with like a nice like little bonus. So I was like, okay, I can't say no if you're gonna front it. So,
Yeah.
luckily enough, we're blessed enough to be able to go do that. That's why we haven't had kids yet. So. To be able to, we're both. It's funny. We were both just talking before we came down here. I was like, oh, I let my dog out because she usually sleeps like one more time from like 7 to 8, and
Mhm.
I let her out just before I came and started recording this. We were both like, man, how are we gonna leave her for a week? And we're like,
Yeah.
oh, we're like those people now. Like
What? Yeah. What is what's the dog's name again? Summer,
summer,
right?
yep.
Yeah. What's she gonna do?
She's gonna stay at my mother-in-law. So my mother-in-law is like she has a dog who's like insane and not trained and like a I don't want to say a bad dog, but like she's
Oh, it's a bad
friendly.
dog.
But
It's
it's
okay.
yeah, like it's just not very good. They didn't train it. It's a mess. But it's Summer's best friend. Like they go over there and they just play for 6 hours and they won't stop. And Summer like loses her mind when you say you're gonna go to grandma's or like go see Willow. Like she like
Yeah.
knows it. Today was actually kind of fun because our breeder, we haven't seen her in about a month and a half maybe. And she was at so Summer is the second litter of this like blood or of this like generation of Summer's mom had one more litter prior, the A litter, and they two of the dogs in that litter are having kids, like they're having puppies this first time. And so she was in she was in the city I'm in, and she messaged Skylar being like, "Oh, I'll come see you." I was like, "Okay," and she brought like her mom with her. It's so funny because like I posted a picture on Twitter. Summer's mom is like, whenever I see her, I'm just like, I want you. Like you're like she's just this massive dog, doesn't jump, like is so well trained and like just docile to an
I want
extent.
somebody to take that clip out of context
Oh
there and just
yeah, yeah. And Summer's just so excited. Like she acts so much like a puppy, and she just runs at full speed. But she's like 70 pounds, so she doesn't realize it yet. But she's just a puppy. But
yeah.
yeah, we got a nice couple of pictures side by side. I'm just like, man, you're a gorgeous dog. Like I can't wait for Summer to be like 2.
Mm.
But yeah, it was really nice to see. Like it's so funny. Like Summer is such a little baby. Like she barks and is loud whenever she sees other dogs. But like so Summer sees her mom Emma, and like Emma's walking around with this ball and just growls at her, and Summer just lays down immediately, and it's just like, oh, it's funny.
Oh
Like
my,
it was
that's
nice to
awesome.
see. But it's nice that like
Yeah.
her mom, like our breeder, has her in like in so close by.
Yeah. Well, there's something lame I have to share with you here.
Lay it on me.
So, dude, I had a busy month at work, which I've told you
You
about a
did
little
have
bit.
a
Like I
rough
was
rough
stressed.
couple weeks.
I
Yeah.
was just stressed, right? Like every day it was something. Every day there's a lot going on. Like a couple, like working on the weekend a little bit at one time. And I was like, I have to figure things out and I have to cut things out of my life too, right? Not
What'd
cut
you
things out of my
cut?
life, but like focus on things.
I can't wait to
And
hear
it
this.
wasn't really like cutting things out. It was more of like, I'll explain it, right?
Yeah.
So, for the people watching the podcast, for the first time in my life, I bought a planner. All right. And I've never believed in these things. You have one, right? I've always believed in writing things down, but I've never had a planner.
There's
I've
something
operated
about
my
it,
whole
bro.
life, operated my whole life just up here in the head. I know what I need to do. And it got to the point between school, work, and like this stuff and whatever else. It was just too much. So I'm trying to like organize this stuff to where it's like every week, and it's a nice notebook. Every week there's like 3 things that you have to get done, right? You write that at the top. And then I try to follow that every day too. Like no matter what, these are the three things, whether it's for work or maybe something on here, I'm gonna finish. I've been trying to do some easy ones too. What's that noise?
There's a no, I don't hear noise. Are you good?
Oh, it's my house.
Yeah. No, I'm
Uh,
trying to look at my bookcase right now. It's I think it's either the Grant Cardone book or maybe it's a Gary Vaynerchuk book.
I hope it's not.
Follows
I hope it's not him, Gary V, because I had that one too. But that's
it
what I'm trying to
follows that
do.
thing though. Like a millionaire's mindset is they find three tasks and it's like or your most important task that you need to get done in the day, and then you write everything out and you don't move on to the next one until you finish the first one.
Yeah,
Like I don't
right.
know I don't know what I'm very big on like self help stuff. Like I love that
I
stuff.
used to be, but I hate those people in a way too because
When
I
you
just
see
have
them now,
this.
yeah.
Yeah, and I have this like stubbornness in me, or I feel like anybody once they reach a certain amount of success can put out one of those books, and no matter what you say, it's a common sense. I could write a self-help book right now, and it would be true. I'm just not a millionaire, so give me 5 years, right?
You just described my
Like,
YouTube channel.
like, dude, it's
You just described that you
yeah,
get big enough until it's just common sense.
yes, yes,
Chad, I'm
it's
just
all
kidding. Make
common
sure you watch my
sense.
YouTube channel.
Yeah, right. Like there's like that rich dad poor dad guy, which
Hmm.
he's a complete fraud. Gary
Yeah,
V, he has a great energy about him, but a lot of
it's
it's
completely
common sense. And
impractical. Completely impractical as well.
yeah, so like
Good
I don't
energy.
like those things, but it's always kind of been my goal to eventually write one of those
Same.
books.
I
Like
would love to write a Twitch one or a
yeah,
content creator one.
yeah, right. And there's so many things, and I guess this is kind of off topic to where I began, but it also is part of my goal. There's this one list. There's like shitty Pittsburgh magazine that goes out, and it's like Pittsburgh 30 under 30, right? And it's like these
No.
stupid people that like this guy's a lawyer and he graduated from somewhere, and he's like, these were the 30 people under 30 years old that you got to know in Pittsburgh. So I'm 28. I'm turning 29 next month. I only have one more year to get on this list. Okay, so I got to do something in this next year. But the reason I wanted to be on there is because I don't like those people. Their dad knew somebody, or they work at the company their dad worked at, or the whatever this, and it's all just entitlement and all this stuff. So I think all of that stems my dislike for the self-help books, my dislike for this list that I want to be on, all stems from that, right?
Fair enough. I have a hard time having a conversation with someone that I don't respect at like a not like an intellectual level, but I guess like an intellectual level to an extent. But like if someone is extremely knowledgeable in something that I'm interested in, I will literally listen or read a book or read many books about in at nauseum because I like finding people that know what I like that do it far better, and then I want to emulate them. That is really like what I've like, for example, like I mean even my like content creation, like I basically just did what Harris Heller and Gary V told me to. Like I read all and did and watched all their stuff, and
Was it the first Gary V
I
book?
read all seven
Okay,
in my
I remember
first year. I
reading
read all
one years
seven.
ago.
It
Yeah.
it was very different back like 4 years ago what Gary Vee was putting out because it was relevant because he hadn't exploded where like everyone knows who he is. And now he's like into Bitcoin and like all and NFTs
Yeah.
and all that
I
nonsense.
read him
Like
in college, and that was 7 years ago.
yeah, like his first book, I think Crushing It is like I'm looking at it right now. I think it's like 8 or 9 years old. It might be.
That's the one I read.
Yeah, it's green, and then he has another one. Or he has one called Crush It, and then Crushing It, and then he has a bunch of other ones, and it was like a lot of like how to be more effective on Twitter. So for example, like when I was growing my Twitter like in 2018, 19, every morning after I would go to the gym and I was eating my breakfast, I would search NHL 22 or NHL 18's hashtag, and I would just reply to literally every single person. I wouldn't follow, but I would just reply to like what they were posting about the game, and then probably if I replied to 50 people, I would get 37 follows because on Twitter, people are so stunned when they don't have a following and they get replies, like interaction.
Yeah.
Like when people, you know what I mean? So people have like, 10 followers and they follow 200 people. When someone replies, they're like, oh my God. And like, that's how I grew my Twitter before I even had like a really decent YouTube channel and like that. Like, so things like that. He was really good at, but now it's like very generalized stuff. Like you're right. What he does now is he like assaults every social media platform with content, whether it's good or not, but like he'll put like 7 TikToks out in a day. and maybe one of them has like something that's like, okay, that makes sense, but like a lot of it's just posting just to post.
Yeah.
And that's an effective way to do it. I mean, like, honestly, how my YouTube channel got big and how it stays like decent is I literally just post an exceptional amount, more than anyone. Like, that was what I did last year. I put 470 videos out in a year. That's more than one a day, right? Like, that was all I did. Was I just made sure. And you see people like Eki who have great numbers on YouTube and whatnot, but he's only putting up like 4 videos a day. He might get 20,000 views on that video that he puts out, right? I'm putting out like 3 in a day, and they each get 5 a day, and it's just like that's how I kept it going. But the problem is, I guess I don't know how many people are interested in YouTube stuff, but like the problem is now if I don't put out a video in a day, numbers go like this because my content is very like
In the moment.
relevant. Yeah, it's in the moment. A lot like Keemstar, for example, like like news, like that kind of stuff. Like that's what a lot of my content is. But that's why I have like videos that I make at the beginning of the year of like strategies and tips and things like that. Those are big, which is what your channel is growing. That I mean, I don't know if you followed what I said, but like that's
no, and I did, and I wish there's times where I wish I'd put my pride to the side, right? Because you know what type of person I am. And it's like there's things I realized that I was doing wrong early on this year in YouTube. Where it's like, I don't care about the thumbnail, I don't care about the title. My content's so good, people will find it, right? And that's just not true. I had a guy comment on my YouTube channel today. It's like, wow, I wish I would have found this like 5 months ago. Like these are amazing. I can't believe this is on YouTube. And it's like if I would have like improved on the marketing aspect of it instead of just focusing on the content side, things might have gone better. They've gone amazing so far, right? Like they've gone really good. But like sometimes I'm just thinking like content's the only thing that matters when it's not.
I'll tell you this though, like the content is like what you're doing. Like, obviously you could have done things better. It's still the most important thing. Like I wouldn't have switched it around if I was you. Like you know what I mean? Like
I agree with you. Yeah, I agree there.
There's lots of things that'll come. Like I was making my thumbnails and they were awful for like up until last year before I found Tyler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like things like that, like but
but shout out to Tantalizing Nathan because he does my thumbnails. He's improved a ton. Like he just sent me one for a video I want to put out this week, and it actually is like really nice. And like I like to keep mine in the same style. I like the whatever. They might not be as good as yours, obviously yours because you have a guy that works for the NHL doing them. But like like stuff like
Tyler.
that, like right. But he's improved a lot, so that's helped too. We're both learning together. That's the fun part.
I would love for you to try one in the next tip video. Take a screenshot in game, like a nice one, like zoom in, get a nice zoom in, and then put like text over it, whatever text you're gonna try that for the next tip video.
We just did that for the last tip video. We had an in-game screenshot, but it was like pink and blue overlay a little bit, so it was transparent, and it's been my best performing video by like 50% so far.
That's all my thumbnails were back in the day. I would just take a screenshot of something, and then I would use cooltext.com, and I would literally make the title of it. If you go back and look at my channels, it was awful. But yeah, all right, let's discuss some HUT, I guess.
Yeah, so I think we should. I think today we should talk about, before we get into anything.
Let's talk about what we're going to talk about. We should have
because we never do that.
No, we don't.
Never do that. So today I think we should talk about the leakening, whatever you want to call it.
HUTgate.
HUTgate, I came up with that term.
You did.
We should talk about GWC.
Yeah, we'll talk about GWC.
We can talk about the new event.
Yeah.
And then if there's anything else we want to talk about.
All right, so let's start. Let's start with the HUT leaks. Let's explain it a little bit for people that don't understand. And forewarning, we are not going to tell you what the leaks were, because that dude. To be honest, I'm sad that I saw them, because as a content creator, I'm livid because the amount of it that just sucked any excitement out of the next month and a half. So for anyone that doesn't know, basically, cards that were supposed to be master sets were released. The card art was put into the. I guess I should explain how it happens. Okay, when you see a patch, a game patch. Again, I'm pulling the curtain back here. I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm going to say it anyways. When you see a patch that comes out, has very little in the game. So I think this had one gameplay update, and it didn't even make sense. And then it was like these new jerseys got added in. 99% of the time when you see a patch like that, because it's like, why would they waste their time on that? It's because they need to release a patch to put new card art in the game, because they can't add in new cards and new card art, just like what they do with like like
Gameplay tuner.
yeah, like again, yeah, like they actually have to use a patch to put this new card art in the game. It needs to be uploaded to the server. So usually it's backdoored and you don't see it. And so then when the new event comes out, they can just bam, here's the new cards. So I don't know if this is new this year, but because all of the overalls on every card is not tied to the graphic of the card. So in prior years, I'll use the Lit versus Grid event. It was 89 to 90s, right? They couldn't go to 91 because the card art had the number drawn on. So they would have had to drawn 20 different card art. So obviously that's not like not realistic. What's the word?
Yeah, the time efficient.
Yeah, like time efficient. It's not efficient.
Effective.
Yeah, it's not cost effective. So this year, what they did was now, if you look in the cards, they have like very generic overall numbers, and they can just go up and down as much as they want. So I don't know if this is new this year, but obviously the card art for the next 4 events got put into the game, and they didn't realize that either they needed to revert back to the base card art for the cards, or they didn't hit a button to hit hide. And what was happening is all of these cards were basically, they replaced the base card of the master set player. Now, the issue with that is that when you have an 82 overall card, that's the base of the card, but the master set's going to be like 97, everyone can pull it very easily. So it exploded. And we're not talking one event. We're talking like 3 or 4 events all got leaked, and you saw the master set.
Basically all of the MSPs.
The next 2.5 months probably was leaked. And the only excitement for Hockey Ultimate Team that we're getting right now, and you see it on Twitch specifically, is Twitch's numbers, not just mine, everyone's will explode via when the new events come out, because everyone wants to see what the new events are, the new card art, what new cards are going to be in. Like, that's the fun part of Ultimate Teams. And man, is the wind right out of the sails, because it's like, now we know who they are. We don't know what overalls they'll be or what abilities they'll have, but we know who they are. And so that happened, and it's like, we say this every patch. I don't know how this is allowed to go on and continue. Like, a company, if your job, again, I'm not exposing a lot, but you're in charge of like reporting of like, or projections. Like, if you came out and you were way off the mark, or you emailed your projections to everyone in your company, you're in a lot of trouble. And then more than likely not employed, And now, obviously, this isn't huge. But, guys, we're not overreacting. This patch was nothing except to get the new cards in the game. And they scuffed that. Like, and again, like, as a normal player, it's like, whatever, okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you guys listening, it's like not a big deal. But again, as a creator, like... So all my views, not just mine, like, and again, I hate that because now I'm going to sound like a privileged, like, my job is to create content. Obviously, if the consumer, my viewers' interest is down in the game, then I'm not going to get the same numbers. So the same thing goes for Thrash or Henrique, everyone. Like, their views will just be down when it comes to covering new content, and it sucks. We didn't do anything wrong. Like, we didn't do anything wrong.
I'm shocked that this happened because we've had like leaks. I don't know how many events have happened so far in NHL. I want to say like maybe like 8 to 10. Maybe there's more than that. And I want to say like 70% of them have had a leak probably. But this was like future ones for every card.
This was nothing like this has ever happened, like ever. So nothing will change. No one will be reprimanded. At least we don't know. I doubt it. But it's like, dude, gameplay patches broke the game. And I don't mean like, oh, dude, D to D one-timers going all the time now, or like the goalie, you know what I mean? Like, no, like, it literally made the game loop and you got into freeze-offs. The game was broken. They had to release another patch that was a Band-Aid that removed features that they promised were in the game. Like, and this one was literally just to get the new HUT content in. And it broke, and now we saw it all, and it's like, oh, sick. Like, it's just, man, I want positives.
Hey, there was a positive for me. I got to see all the MSPs that are coming out, and I could decide.
It's great for GWC players. Let's segue right into GWC. How about that?
Let's do that, because like, if you were able to see the leaks, you could see all the MSPs that were coming out. We know now that every single card coming out is going to be 96 to 98 overall for the MSPs. So you could pretty much assume what their stats will be. You won't know their abilities. So based off the leaks, it was a good week to build the MSPs that came out. Because a lot of these players weren't, super tall. They'll probably all have similar attributes, so building your team just got a lot easier.
I'll tell you this, man. Like none of them that I saw. Like I think that was more alarming. And again, we didn't see all of them. I'm sure that there is some that maybe weren't pulled, or I hope to
So
God.
maybe there are a couple then
Well,
that
we
didn't
didn't
see that are
know. For
good.
example, let's talk. Okay, like we're going all over the place. Let's talk about this event. So the four master sets, the social showdown that came. It's just a 1 week event. Pretty cool. I like that. That was a cool event.
Yeah.
And we didn't know that Pedersen was one. Like it didn't get leaked, right? Like we saw,
Okay.
and we didn't know Nash. Well, we
No,
did.
Pedersen did get leaked.
But Pedersen got leaked. Nash did
He
not.
got leaked.
I know it did
so,
not.
No, Pedersen
But it
got
was
leaked
easy.
2 days before because his X Factor was upgradable to 95 overall.
You're
and there was
right,
no-
dude. You're right.
So it was a separate leak that leaked it.
Yes, you were right. Okay, you are
Yeah.
correct in that one. The Nash wasn't, but everyone knew it was going to be Nash. Like that one was telegraphed, right?
Yeah.
Way to be Nasher to give all the GWC hopefuls just two banger
So
cards.
nice of him, right?
Dude, that like, dude. Well, I
Yeah.
love it, bro. He doesn't. Yeah, I got all the flack for the last month about the game, and he's like, you boys want some banger cards? Here you go. Like, I'm just like,
Literally the two best forwards in the game. he just put out.
all right,
Good
so let's
for
talk
him.
about the four cards. Okay, so Pavel Barber was the other guy, the other influencer that got two cards, and Pavel Barber's awesome. And he released Omark and Pedersen, probably two of the worst master sets that we've gotten in terms of like usefulness. Omark looks
Yeah.
fun, but just he's a worse Patrick Kane. So like that we just got right. And Pedersen always plays awful. He's like a
Because
left-handed.
he's only like 170 pounds.
Yeah, so you think it's 6'2", because like, oh, if he's over 6'1", he's a useful player, right? But he just weight matters, but not as much as height, but weight matters, and he's like a left-handed Marner. Like they just never play well in HUT against like Division 1 guys, like that.
Yeah.
That kind of play. You know what I wish, man? Talking about, I'm so exhausted about like meta and stuff. It's like I wish like Division like 2 or and below. It's just a completely different game. You can use whoever you want.
Well, yeah, I saw that on your tweet the other day. Maybe it was yesterday. You had asked people about like their like low scoring games or whatever, and Thrash responded. Also, Thrash, congrats on the wedding coming
Yes,
up
congrats,
this week.
dude. Thrash is
Yeah,
getting
that's
married.
awesome. He is getting married in Disney World.
Dude, I wish.
He showed his like recent games, and they were all these high scoring games. And I was thinking like, what game are you
Yeah.
playing? Because I've never seen that.
I don't know, guys. In the comment section down below, let us know if you guys are. Give us your division in Rivals if you matchmake glitch and what your score is, because I don't matchmake glitch because people would probably just roast me senseless and call me like a shitter or something. But I don't matchmake glitch. I'm in Division 1, just on the cusp. I'm in between, like I get to like 2200, and it's 2-2. It's 2-1. It's 3-2. At what I mean. It's 1-0. Like
Yep.
I told B Wubs, who's a very good player. He was like, I was like
B-Wubs.
I was like, check out my goalie stats. And dude, I was 71-56 with Rene, 71-56 with HUT champs and Division 1 rivals, 85% save percentage. He is like, I don't understand. No one can tell me how. And maybe I just play very good defense, which is maybe the case. But everyone can play good defense, and just scoring is just so hard. But I don't want to talk about not scoring anymore because like we always talk about that.
Yeah, we did that last week. Yeah.
But let's talk. Okay, so this event, let's do real quick with a 4 in a row. We can do this pretty easily. Omark's last, Pedersen's third.
Line A and Nash are tied.
Yeah, it's whatever you
opinion.
need. If you don't
Yeah.
have McDavid or Rantanen, then I would probably make Nash first. But Line A's there were so many good righties at the beginning of the year, and I think it was
Now
like
there's none.
there's none. Like it's so weird because I went months with saying left-handers just don't have anyone really big, right? Like
Yeah.
can you I don't know because all the X factors are small. Right?
No, but now I'm at the point with like how I'm building my team where I'm running a second line with 3 wingers, and I just never have them on the ice for a face-off because I have a lot of good left-handed shots.
Huh.
Does that sound stupid to you?
I don't know if I would put that on my second line.
There's not a lot of good. I guess there's not a lot of good depth at center for elite players.
There
are
is
a lot
not,
of
no.
amazing wingers. There are not a lot of amazing centers.
Okay, follow me. Let me ask you this, because if you don't make a manual change, your second line will come out. Oh no, I guess to the face-off, as long as you're paying attention.
As long as I'm paying
Yeah,
attention on
yeah.
the face-off, I want them to come out.
Yeah,
on
you
the
want them to come at mid-play. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so again, and for anyone that's in GWC, we can make a blanket statement here. Make Line A 100% if you can make Nash as well.
I made both of them.
Yeah, but I'm saying
Um,
like Line A
yeah.
100%, and if you can make Nash would be my recommendations for.
Yeah, yeah, they're like the two like it's. Thank you, Nasher. Thank you for me.
That's I can't. I was like, my God, he's gonna give
I
Line A
was grinning to
Nasher.
myself here while you were talking like 2 minutes ago. Um, how funny would it have been if you were one of the people chosen to have a Master Set player after last week, and you picked like Chara?
Dude, like
With Chara with shutdown.
I no, I'm not gonna out that. Okay, so yeah, that would have been bad. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been great. Yeah, so dude, GWC, can you okay. I still haven't registered because I have until the 13th. And they also make it to where you have to like link your account on the website for the
It's a
registration. And like
mess.
I forget my like
This happens
login.
every year.
And it happened to me last year too, and it took me a while to figure it out. So I still have to register. But can you explain some of these things to me? Because does it matter who your favorite team is that you pick at the time? Does any of this matter?
Okay, so it does. This year, I think the format is the most flushed out it's ever been. So I think actually, one second. It's definitely the most flushed out it's ever been. And I'll explain this. I just have a lot of Discord messages. Give me 1 second. I just want to make sure nothing's like blowing up. And no, we're good. Sorry,
Okay,
sorry,
good,
guys.
good.
Sorry, guys. My apologies. I get nervous when I get a ton of notifications without seeing them. So yeah, so what happens is when you guys sign up, it'll ask you who your preferred team is, your favorite team is. It definitely matters this year. It mattered last year, but this year, for sure, same kind of situation. So what will happen, guys, is let's pretend you sign up and you qualify and you make the top 32. Okay, first week, the top 32 players, it's like a HUT champ style. It's 25 games instead of 20, but it runs from Wednesday at midnight all the way until Sunday at midnight to get an extra day. And it's a full day because it starts at Wednesday at midnight. And what'll happen is whoever finishes top 32, it's win-based again. The top 32, they will be automatically put into the team that they want to represent. So you want to pick your favorite team more often than not. It really doesn't give you any advantages. Last year, it kind of mattered because there was a divisional round where like the winners, like so the Boston Bruin rep had to play the Tampa Bay Lightning rep like eventually. And that definitely mattered because, some of the big guns were like, okay, I don't want to, like Regs and Gren, for example, were like, okay, I'm not going to pick a Atlantic team if you're going to pick, you know what I mean? And that makes sense because they don't want to, you want to give yourself the easiest run. No matter what, it's going to be difficult, especially this year, like
Yeah.
the way the game is. But so if you sign up and you pick your favorite team, what'll happen is let's say you finish first overall this week, the first week, okay, and you're a fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs. You will be automatically put into the qualifier to represent the Toronto Maple Leafs in the GWC. Okay. And then second overall, let's say you pick the Pittsburgh Penguins. You will be the Pittsburgh Penguins rep. Let's say third overall, you pick the Pittsburgh Penguins. That's already been taken. You will be given a random team. Okay. And then it'll keep going, right? So as long as your team isn't taken, let's say you're 17th and you pick the San Jose Sharks because no one else picked them. You'll be the San Jose Shark representative. And it keeps going until all 32 teams are taken. Then the second week, the 33 to 64. So the people that qualify for week 1, they can't qualify again. They can't play in the second week. You won't get a collectible to be allowed to play in that qualifier, the open qualifier. So if you don't qualify in week 1, you will get a collectible to play in week 2. So let's say you get top 32 again. This time you'll be completely randomized. So 33rd, you're technically ranked 33rd to 64. So it's 100% to your advantage to try as hard as you can in week 1 so that you are in whatever team you pick. But where it'll matter is, so let's say whoever finishes 15th in week 2, they are the Toronto Maple. They get paired with the Toronto Maple Leafs who finished 101 in week 1. They'll play. The first round that they will play, it'll be offline. It will be out of the game. It'll be on Battlefy. They will play to represent the Toronto Maple Leafs. So that first round, after the 64 have been chosen on every console, they will play to represent the Toronto Maple Leafs. Okay, and then you're into the round of 32 where it's just team reps, right?
Okay. And it's not aligned by division at
It
all.
is
It's
not. It
literally
is lined by where
seeded.
you ranked. So let's
Yeah.
say
And it's reseeded after that.
it appears to be. So again, this is the best format. So if you finish 101, the Toronto Maple Leafs, you win the qualifier to represent the Toronto Maple Leafs. You win that first series. The next series, let's say someone in week 2 wins the Dallas Stars. So let's say 58th. Okay, he finished 27th or 28th in week 2. Okay, so he's technically ranked in the 50s because it's 1 to 64. He beats whoever finished in week 1 as the Dallas Stars rep. Then 101 will play 58th ranked Dallas Stars rep, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it allows you to get the easiest run because you deserve it, because you qualified. And so I think it is definitely the best format for sure
Okay.
that we've had.
Yeah, and it's interesting because like on PS5, I know Junior Pens is going to pick the Penguins, right? It makes zero sense for me as a Penguins fan to pick the Penguins because no matter what, that first round I would have to play them.
No, okay. Maybe I didn't
Right?
explain it right.
Like no. After you said the reps play the reps, right? In the first.
In the second week, so 33 to 64, completely random. It doesn't matter what team you picked. You will be given you will go to a completely random team. Doesn't matter who you set as preferred.
Ugh.
That's what happened last year. So week 1, if you win the top 32 and your team hasn't been selected yet, you will get whatever team that you select as your favorite team. But then week 2, if you set your favorite team as the Pittsburgh Penguins, you have a 1 in 32 shot of getting the Pittsburgh Penguins qualifier against Junior Pens.
No, it would still be the highest qualified Pittsburgh Penguins that selected them as their favorite team that gets it. Because that happened to me last year. I played in week 2. I didn't play in week 1. And I had the Red Wings picked as my favorite team. I finished like first or second in that week 2 qualifier, and I got the Red Wings. And it wasn't like so it's like that's what happened last year.
Okay, it's not what's happening this year. So in week 2, whoever finishes in week 2, finishes in week 2, yeah, like or qualifies week 2, you'll be given a random team qualifier.
Okay.
It's complete random. So if you don't have to worry about playing Junior Pens.
I just have to play. I mean, I guess unless one of us.
There is no disadvantage to trying to compete for your favorite team, which is how it should be. Because it shouldn't be like, oh, Gren is a Sharks fan and I don't want to play Gren, so I'm not going to pick the Sharks. No, I mean, not that I would finish higher than him, but like as an example, like pick your favorite team.
How do you feel this year? There's a lot to discuss actually about the format. So 2 from whenever you make it to the live finals, right?
8 people do 2 from each console.
2 from each console. That means 2 players from PS4 in North America, 2 players from Xbox One, right? Those consoles have completely dwindled skill compared to the next-gen consoles.
Correct.
Do you think there should be more qualifiers from the next-gen consoles, or do you think it's okay?
Okay, so from like a competitive standpoint, it should just be next-gen. Because that is where I can't think of I can maybe think of 1 or 2 players that haven't been able to get a new console. The problem is that you can't as an organization, so like the NHL or as a league, you can't say, oh, you can't afford a PS5, well, you're not competing in our tournament. Especially the NHL, because they're all about like they're trying to be all about inclusion now. So I understand that and it's not their fault. It's EA,
No, it's
you know
not.
what I mean. It's EA's fault. Like, let's be clear here. It's
For
EA's
not
fault.
have a cross-gen,
Yeah.
platform.
Now next year, I don't know. Like, if there's an old gen game, I don't know if they say, okay, that's enough. We did our due diligence this year. But what I would say is that if you have a next gen game, you have the old gen game. So I believe. Even if you don't have, I think the standard one doesn't, but if you bought like the deluxe or whatever, you got the old one. Let's pretend they just give you a copy of that, because at the stage where you draft a team or whatever, everyone's on the same playing field, and EA could just give you your team. I kind of wish that it went that route at a certain point. So like PS5 guys, they played against PS4 guys, but just on the PS4 game. The problem is that you don't want to be showing that, like, I don't know. I honestly don't know, because like I know the broadcasts are going to show, and you don't want to show the old gen game like a lot. Like, I don't know. They're in a tough spot. I can say that. Like, I wish.
Yeah. And you had mentioned some of the players that were on old gen, and I think all of them that are playing on old gen have a new gen console.
100%, bro.
Yeah.
I don't blame them. Like,
no, I don't either.
Yeah, like it's going to be a far easier run on PS4 and PS5 than it is on Xbox. And on the next gen, the way that this game plays, My God, I can't wait to see what the final eight is.
I think this year I was talking in my stream yesterday and Gren showed up because I'm glad because we were talking about like what the chances are. People that come to my channel obviously want to see me win. I'm like, guys, it might be like a 1 to 2% chance that I make that final eight in Montreal, and those are good odds. And I was like, even taking like, let's say Gren's the best player on PS5, I give him a 10% chance at making that final eight in Montreal. And it's not because he's not the best player. If he is, it's just that the game is so random.
You have to get so when it gets down to the final four on each console, okay, when 16 people are left, there's a draft. But it's also it's best of three, double elimination. Whereas all the way up to that, it's single elimination, best of three. You are gonna see like the best of three helps it a little bit because I remember the first year of HUT, it was BO1s, like it was
Single
scary.
win BO1.
Yep, dude. So, I will say the best of three saves quite a bit of it, but you are gonna see some big names bow out when they if you played a best of seven. I like a 0% chance that guy wins 4 games, right?
Yeah.
I think this year is the year that you're going to see a lot of parity. I could be completely wrong, but I think that this year you're going to see a lot of guys that no one knows, like rookie GWC players. I will say this will be the year that the most rookie GWC players will make it. That will be my guess. You know, Gren has made it to the regional stage every single year. That
Yeah.
in itself is incredible. I mean, there's only been one other person that's done that, and that's John Wayne. And so like that's impressive to see. And I think Junior Penn's actually. And Sitful, now that I think about it. But Sitful never
Uh,
makes it far.
yeah. Yeah. Thanks to me. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Just joking.
But
I'm
yeah, so
joking.
there's been a few, but like Gren has made it to Vegas or the finals like every year, which is like it's crazy. This year it could be the time that he doesn't. You know, like not that I would not put money that he wouldn't make it, but it is going to be awfully tough because this game you sit if you I don't want to say sit in the middle and skill zone. If you just play inside the face-off dots and you aren't just standing still, like you play decent defense but you play inside the face-off dots, it is just so hard to score. Like
It is, and then if and the goalies are so good, right? So if he's going up against a post-to-post goalie, maybe there's some other abilities on there. Um, I mean, it's so hard to win consistently in this game,
dude, have you
and
seen
there's a
the
lot of good players.
there's so
There-
many
I was-
it blows my mind. And I think this is a reason why I'm so hard on myself this year because this year I've said it many times it's the worst I've been statistically. I'm still Division 1, but like it is I lose to people I've never heard of. And that sounds like bad and egotistical, but like if you play this game enough and you're involved in esports enough, like I've covered pretty much every single 1v1 event for the last 4 years. Like I've been the broadcaster for it, including the GWC. So like even if someone hasn't qualified, I see someone in a bracket, I know who they are. Like the amount of tags that I'll lose to that and they're good that I have no and I can like there's a difference between me losing 2-1 and I should have won or it's close, and then there's a difference between where I can tell probably within the first 5 minutes if this dude is like cracked. The amount of players on PS5, I don't know how everyone got so good. Like I simply don't.
I mean, it's just the information age, right? Like, so
I
there's
guess.
Twitch, there's I'm streaming on their Grand Regs. All those people stream every game, right? You can see how every top player plays. There's tips, by the way. A lot of information I'm putting out this year has not been put on YouTube before. Like the stuff that separates like those top 10 to 20 players from like the Division 1 players, right? So it's all that stuff's out there, I think.
This year also has the least amount of those kinds of things. So
Yes.
I'll give you an example. Like the stuff that you've shown this year would be considered hella basic to even 21. So let's take 21 for example. The slap shot at the face-off dot short side, which is it took a little bit of it, like so you come down the wing in 21 and you wind up for a slap shot at the face-off dot and you aim short side, not far side, which is kind of awkward to do. That was a goal. Like that was like a goal that would go in quite a bit in 99 HUT. Same with the wrap around, and then if you fire upstairs on the face-off dot,
Yeah,
it's
if
things
you
that you had to
L2, yeah.
learn. Like it was mechanic goals that you had to learn that separated the Division 1 from the GWC.
And there's none of
There's
those in-
none of that.
And I know Gren's shaking in his chair, like, because he knows 3 in practice mode, but like, I don't see any of these goals used online. And that is what separated. Like if you played somebody in GWC that was like a top five, like contender or something, they would score those every single time. And there's none of those goals that you can rely on. So now the only thing you're relying on is cross creases, breakaways, and then it's like you had the abilities in there from the goalies where they save 30 to 50% of those, and it's just a crapshoot.
And a lot of people might say that that's okay. Like, no glitches. Like, you're saying, oh, you want glitches in the game. That's not it. I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
there is no, what ends up happening when there isn't goals that are tough to learn. So we'll take the one that's really popular this year, the only one essentially, is the Pogues one that he kind of made famous in Tampa in the Tampa Bay Lightning esports event, where you hold L2 behind your opponent's net and you weave back and forth until the goaltender kind of hugs the one bar, but you have to wait. You have to be running behind the net. You have to wait for your winger to come in, and then you have to fire a pass that is very tough to like learn and figure out because
Yeah.
it is not easy because you have to miss the net and hit the player, and that's strategy based, not a glitch. And that is really the only one, and it's not easy. So the reason why that's important is because when you take those things away that someone has to spend a lot of time in the lab in practice mode, it's what made you a game changer. Is you would go into practice mode and you would find what would get the goalie to sit up and hug the post in a weird way, what motions would. It's because not because you would rely on those goals all game long, but maybe there is a rush where that goal is available and you take that because you practice it and you can hit it against the best players in the world. And one goal in most cases is gigantic when you're playing guys that are at the best in the world. So
Yeah.
when you don't have any of that, you don't have a skill gap. And
Yeah, because that was the nice thing about those, right? Like if you could score from those angles, it made people play defense and not just
yeah,
crowd the net.
exactly, right? And now there is none of that, so they don't have to. Point shots are one thing we do need to talk about in terms of GWC is something that the last little bit we'll get into about GWC this episode, because D2D one timers do not go in for the most part at all. They're down to about, I would say, 10% success rate if you extrapolated them out, unless you have something specific. But and while everyone's like, "Oh, dude, that's such a crap way to score," yes, but when you are facing players that are using Protect Net and collapsing, one of the things that they are allowing is you to take wide open D to D one timers. Those need to go in to stop that, right? Because if those don't go in, you're just giving up possession. You're not scoring, and now they get to go the other way, and you're going to see a lot of games that are 0-0. You're going to see the lowest scoring GWC would be my bet. You'd see the
Yeah,
lowest scoring
I would bet
GWC.
$1,000 on that right now.
Yep. Like it is going to
Yeah.
be very silly. So nice little segue. And again, guys, for the players that aren't in GWC, I completely understand why you would hate that type of gameplay. We're just trying to give you a reasoning as to why this year for the people that are going to try to qualify GWC, it's going to be very difficult. Like you are going to, and if you are good at HUT, you should be trying for GWC, especially this year because you have no idea.
Oh yeah,
You have
yeah.
no idea. Like it's wild, man. But let's talk about. I mentioned D2D one timers. We talk about that a lot. Let's talk about some abilities that you think is going to be extremely important on GWC teams because now we have AP changes that are and they're all solidified and whatnot, and nothing's changing. I don't think they're going to make one more change at all after what happened. So this is what we've got. So what are some of the things that you were looking for in terms of ability points? Let's each go back and forth. So give me one that you think you need to have on one or two players.
Close quarters.
Okay. Explain why and how you use it.
Yeah, so the reason I Primo came out with it, Rick Nash came out with it, and then I have a couple other players that have the silver ability. In this game specifically, whenever you get those chances close to the net, goalies make those saves way more than they did in prior years, right? Close quarters gives you an increased accuracy and power on those shots. So whenever you do get a prime scoring chance, you're scoring that at a higher rate with close quarters. So I'm somebody that gets a fair amount of those chances, right? I want to score those whenever I get a chance. And then especially in those tight games against good players, you want to score the 3 to 4 chances that you do get. So I'm eyeing up forwards with that ability right now.
I'll just to piggyback on close quarters. So Primo, such a good card. Like such a good card.
Yeah.
The one of the more popular ways to score on a breakaway or partial breakaway is to go forehand, forehand upstairs. If you're coming down on the left side or the right side, doesn't matter. With close quarters specifically, guys, it activates anytime that you're above the hash marks So everyone thinks that you got to be in the crease, and I did. I mean, we talked about that. We didn't, at the beginning of the year. But it's anytime it'll activate anytime above the hash marks there. You can score that or that forehand goal like 5 feet out with Primo. Like it is absurd. And some other things I've noticed is on a rebound, if you just get it quickly and fire it, it'll go through a goalie. Like
yeah, I scored a weird one 5-hole today.
It's
with
5-hole. I was about to say that. Yeah, it's like it finds the open spot, or there's some.
I don't know if it does that or there's like a delayed reaction from the goalie. I don't know if it messes with the goalie's animations at all, but you just score more of those.
Also, I think it almost all but eliminates. So in sixes, something that's been outed is where someone will send in Ben Ross clips of like a sniper build missing a wide open net, and he's stated publicly that sometimes there's human error accounted because in the real thing that there is, which makes me terrified because it's like, wait a minute, you're programming missing.
Yeah,
because that's a whole other tinfoil hat thing. But I think it all but eliminates that with close quarters. Like it will, if you have a 99 shooter and he hits close quarters and there's a shot, like it will hit the net, which is important. So close quarters definitely the one I have noticed a lot on. The other one I want to talk about specifically, and I'm actually going to give you, maybe I will, I don't know. Maybe I'll make it in a future video. Actually, wait, this is Tuesday. It's coming out Tuesday. No, I'll talk about
Tuesday.
it. Yeah, I'll come out. Okay, I can talk about it here. I watch your stream quite regularly now. And you have Zach Werenski and Gold 1T, which is a very rare ability. Gold 1T, that is 1,000% the way that you can score D to D one-timers. Like, to increase your odds at it, I would say it's a 10%. So if 10% of the time you take D to D one-timers, and only with lefties, really, far side, low blocker, it'll go in. I would say it's a 20 to 25% with Gold 1T.
With crash the net full shooting too.
Yeah.
If you want to include that in your video sleeves. I don't know what you're having in your video, but
mine was going to be a card recommendation, but I'll get to that in a second.
Good. Okay. Yeah, good
but
enough.
Yeah, so you've noticed that a lot, right?
Yes.
Okay, so when it comes to GWC, the reason why I want to bring this up is that Zach Werenski, now, I've talked about it a little bit in my videos, and I don't know if that's why it's not available, or just a lot of people don't have him, didn't pull him when the event was on, but we now know, because we've gotten a few events, since Shutdown isn't nearly as popular, I don't see Shutdown at all anymore. Very rarely do I see
thank
Shutdown.
God, right?
Yeah, it makes it, God, dude. Like,
it's almost like the change improved the game.
Weird. I didn't see that coming
insane.
At all. It's wild.
I can't believe it.
Yeah. But D to D one-timers with Gold 1T, like, yeah, you hear it, first of all. Like, if you play with game sound on, it sounds like a cannon. But Zach Werenski is like the end-all, be-all one that's out right now. So GWC qualifiers start in a week and 3 days, right? So we know, unfortunately, we know that, I mean, we might get a Gold 1T on one of the defenders that comes out next week, because this event is only 1 week and there's no defenseman in it as far as master sets go. But Werenski looks to be the one that is going to be a catalyst for those DD one-time, and he's just not available on the market. So,
no.
In my opinion, Silver 1T, if you have Hedman, if you have Coburn, needs to be on only with lefties. I still don't think righties can score. Whether it's
I'm in the same boat, because I only have it activated on Coburn and Werenski, and I have Hedman on the left side, so there's no need to have it activated.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, and for anyone that says I score all the time with righties, I would love to see a clip, man.
I don't see it. I don't see it. I've tried it.
I've taken like 50, and I've never scored on the right side off a clean one-timer. But that being said, so shout out to Padre, because I'm now so annoyed with this Werenski thing, because I'm never gonna. I have like 500,000-600,000 coins ready, but he is never on the market, and I don't think he will be leading up to GWC, because now this is when all of the guys that are so into this game, you just will not. If Werenski hits the market now, if you have Werenski, put him up for 700. I bet you someone buys him. I bet you for 700,000 coins, if you have Zach Werenski and you don't find the 1T all that great, put him up for 700,000 coins. I bet you someone buys him. To be honest, I probably will. But I'm at a point now where I've been doing my stats, and I'm ready to break down Larkin, who I made untradeable because I thought that he was going to be the one. But for whatever reason, he doesn't perform well for me. A lot of people think that he performs well for a lot of people, just not for me. So I'm about to break him down and take the half of the collectibles I got from him, and then make Werenski at the just stupid price.
Oh, yeah, because they were in the same
event,
but
it's right? Double the cost. So, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
If I I get desperate and I really want it, but I don't need them. That being said, there's a couple cards. Shout out to Padre because he found this one. One I will state first is the Nation's Dougie Hamilton, 6'6", gold 1T. 91 speed.
Right-handed shot though.
Right-handed shot though. But I haven't seen a gold right. Like I haven't.
I haven't tried it actually.
Yeah,
because
that's
there's
what
been silver 1T ones, but there hasn't been a gold.
Exactly, right? So that's one that I'm curious about. But the other one is Team of the Week 91 Oliver Ekman Larson. He is like 80K and gold 1T and roughly around the same, it's about like 2 less stats on everything than Werenski, and he's a fraction of the price. So for anyone that is looking to try gold 1T and you want it on one of your pairs for, to be able to do one-timers, that would be the one I would recommend. Any other ones?
Right now, how I'm running my team, it's close quarters and 1T. And then I have light work on my goalie, and then I have 1 forward, 1 center with silver quick draw.
Almost.
So I'm literally running like 3 to 4 abilities. That's it.
I have gotten to the point now where because 1T silver 1T works with Coburn and Hedman. Because we talked about this before about how passing is so broken, especially going backwards or you go D to D. My right-handed defenseman has tape to tape. I want to say it's Burns. I put tape to tape on Burns to try and make sure that his passes to Hedman or Coburn are like...
That's hilarious.
Yeah, that's how important I think that is, because again, guys, you have to consider what you're going up against, and its defense has never been easier. I mean, dude, I might not win all my games, but my goaltender has like a 2-goal against average and 85% save percentage. So I'm losing, but I'm not if I can do it, you guys can do it, right? That's what it'll end up being. So I'm trying to lean into whatever can just give me those kinds of advantages. Close quarters for sure. I'm trying to think of anything else because I've messed around with like shutdown. If you have 99 checking, I don't think it matters as much. Same thing with elite edges. If you have 99 agility, I just can't see it. If I can't visually see what these things, truculence is a good one. That's another one I would consider because that can injure guys. But I'm not even really activating a lot of silver things if I can avoid it.
Here's a question for you that might help you think about it differently. Because we're thinking about it in our shoes, right? If you're a Division II player that's trying to play in a way that gives you the best chance of winning, what abilities would you activate? Because I wouldn't, if I was in their shoes, I would not activate close quarters.
Yeah, so, okay. If that's the case, definitely 1T. If you're a Division II, you have to activate 1T. Dude, the next one, I'm not even lying, might be Wheels.
Okay.
But
I don't agree with that.
I don't either. I'm trying to think because I don't know what other ones I would activate.
I would do Truculence because that's frustrating to play against.
Yeah,
a lot of the
Truculence,
Division 1 players play the puck control style, and if you get bumped with Truculence, I can't talk, you lose the puck, right? So I would go right off the bat, Truculence and 1T.
I take away Wheels because I don't think Wheels is important because everyone has high skating now. You're right. It's definitely Truculence. Dude, you know what one I want to see is Spinorama.
It's only on that Malkin MSP that came out. And that's actually a good ability because the Spinorama, and I did a video on this a month or 2 ago, it's very useful, but you get a weak shot after it. So if you have that ability, it might be good, but there's no cards. And that's why we didn't know that Close Quarters was so good in HUT, was because there were no cards that came out all year.
That Ray Ferraro at the beginning of the year, that one that everyone got, but
and I was so mad I didn't use it. I was I don't want this card.
I think something else to talk about, in terms of team building for GWC, you need one centerman needs to have gold quick draw, or at least silver. But if you can, if you have Jokinen,
silver, it depends on who you go up against, right? If you're playing against somebody that has silver or gold quick draw, you would need it. But if you're playing against somebody that doesn't use the ability, then all you need is silver quick draw.
True. Yeah, I guess that would be the way to do it. Because
so I guess on the safe side, use gold.
Because if you have Jokin, the reason why Jokinen is so good, I've talked about the face-off rating not meaning as much as we thought in prior years, but it still does, and especially at the highest level, because everyone knows every counter, and it's very difficult to win consistently against someone who's very good at the game. Quick draw, if you have gold quick draw, that means that if you tie up, you will win, and if you do the exact same move as someone else, you will win if you have 99 face-offs and gold quick draw. And you're going up against someone that doesn't have that. right? So that's why I think Jokinen is very important to have at least as your fourth liner. Like if you again for GWC teams, but or even if you're not, like if he's going to be your first liner, second liner, I think that's because that is a ability that you can quantify and see. Schneip, I don't think does anything.
And I tried out the gold version on Line A, and
Same.
I didn't notice a thing. And I was scoring without it.
You scored a short side wrister with Line A, and I was like, what in the world?
It's because he's 6'5".
You haven't, dude. We haven't seen it, guys. If you've seen short side wrister blocker side with a righty this year, let us know because that's another thing that's just gone from the game.
So I said in a podcast, I want to say like 15 episodes ago,
Okay.
that the taller players are not only better because of their balance, right? They weigh more, they're bigger, they're harder to knock off the puck. It's because the stick, right, reaches out further. So whenever, if you're Patrick Laine, you're skating down the left side, you cut across the middle, and you hold the puck out further, the goalie moves over further, so you're able to shoot back to the opposite side for a short side shot, which I guess would be far side at that point. So that's a little bit more evidence to that theory I had.
Also on wraparounds, like if you do the, that's a very common goal. Like if you have someone who's huge,
score it with like the Brinkat, right? Because he's 5'7". The puck's coming from where he is.
That's why we talk about guys that are so big. But again, like if you're in a lower division, it really doesn't matter in that sense. But yeah, like for GWC, that's definitely. I would say I have a feeling because of how this year's gone when we've told or they've brought up in like Twitch and like the guys that are handling the content team they're on Reddit a lot. Like they pay attention to what the community kind of wants to see in terms of like abilities and stuff. So shutdown. You won't see someone who's like 6'5" and above with gold shutdown again.
After Hedman got
I don't
released,
I don't think we'll see that until it doesn't matter. Like after GWC is what I mean. Yeah. So that being said, like gold 1T is like a hot topic, not just because I'm saying it. Like again, you watch Keso's stream, how many times he takes that shot with Renski, you can hear it because you don't play music, which is so weird to me, but I respect it. Like
I don't because like so there were a couple people I watched whenever I started the stream that I tried to not emulate, but I thought like, oh, those guys are like really good at what they do. One of them was OG Kevin Bacon. Sorry, Sleaze, this isn't one of you. I think you're great. OG Kevin Bacon's really good at interacting with No, you're amazing. If I could get to where you are, that'd be great. You know that.
You don't want to be there lately, brother. Let me tell you.
But OG Kevin Bacon's like literally like a 98 overall streamer to me.
He's great, dude.
Because his personality and how he interacts with the chat, right? And then the other one was somebody I only watched a couple times because he only streams games I don't really play, and that's that Mills guy that you like.
I love Mills.
He's like he's polished and he's good, right? And I don't know if they play music or not, but they're so good at interacting with their chat and communicating with people and building that like whenever I watch their channels, I'm like, I want to get a beer with this guy and hang out with him for like 5 hours. So like I try to do that. Not that I have that same personality, but I want people to come to my channel and like interact with me and talk to me just for me and I guess the gameplay, because that's probably why half the people are there, right? So that's one of the reasons, for the no music thing. It was like a firm decision. I'm not going to do this.
I respect it. But also, you don't have to worry about DMCA.
Yeah, that was probably 80% of it, but that was a nice story I just told. So
that's I wasn't taking a shot at you, but like when you hear 1T activate on your stream and you'll hear it 15 times a game, it's like you clearly see that this is something. And you have to remember, guys, we're at 99 HUT. Now is when you are going to see abilities kind of take over, because now when everyone is at the same level, there is no discrepancies. 99 HUT sucks. It is awful. But the only thing now that will break it is when the abilities that don't just impact stats, they give you an animation. That is when those will take over. Like Truculence. Like Truculence doesn't make your body check and go to 99. It allows you to absolutely crush someone's bones. Like
so I wish we could again, I guess you could offline, right? What would a player that's like 5'7", 130 pounds with gold truculence do with like 60 body checking? Would it still be insane body checks?
I would love to be able to test it. I
mean,
wonder,
you can't offline.
Yeah, but I wonder what that actually, I would love to do a test of that.
There's your next YouTube video, or mine, but
interesting. That's interesting.
It is, right? It is like which one's actually like if it's a gold 1T shot from like a 50 overall player, like stuff like that.
I think it's. I mentioned this before about, and it kind of sucks. But truculence. I mentioned this to EA Hawk. For anyone that doesn't know, EA Hawk's the content developer. I mentioned this that the reason why Adam Fox, the team of the year, is so underwhelming is because this year small players don't bump guys off the puck at all on defense. They just don't. Like in 21, if you had 99 body check with McCarr, he would bump people off the puck, and it was like, wow, finally. This year, it's like back to the old games. And I was like, try it with truculence, and it works. Like, if you have a guy that's like 5'11 with truculence, he can bump people off the puck. But then it's such a crutch. Like, it's like, Quinn Hughes is not known for bone-rattling hits, so he's got to have truculence to make his...
Did you see the Theo Fleury that came out? Was 5'6" with gold truculence?
That is the forward PK Subban. Like, I want to try that card, but I can't spend the 200,000 coins that it will cost to get him. Because, like, you know what I mean? But, like, that is a card that just looks like fun. I'm trying to focus on that more.
Fly around and just level people.
I saw in the video where I was reviewing those cards that someone said that, like, he's a fun card and he's fast, but yeah, the second you breathe on him, he just goes flying. Like, same with Patrick Kane. Like, it's unfortunate, and EA won't find a way to make them viable, but, it is what it is.
The game's not designed for, like, this 99, and it's never designed with 99 HUT in mind. So until they change their gameplay development process, it's always going to be like this every year.
And I don't think we'll ever see that, to be honest. In the entirety of HUT, we won't ever see a point where they prioritize that.
Yep.
Maybe one day. But anything else?
No, I'm excited for GWC. I'm excited to, play some meaningful games. Would you just think of something?
Dude, okay? So GWC qualifiers in prior years took much longer. The process this year, because it's on 4 consoles, the same amount of players qualify. So there's 256, right, that get to like the club qualifier stage, which is the first round this year. But because it was 4 weeks long in prior years, because it's only 2 weeks. Again, for the average player, you guys don't care about GWC, and a lot of people on my channel probably won't. But you will see the interest in NHL absolutely crater this on Sunday at midnight of March 26th. March 26th, to the point where the market, whatever card you want, you'll be able to afford. And that's fun, but it's before team of the season. And yeah, well, the one thing that will hold it up is that, the 64 people, or the 32 players on every console will still... Actually, no, 16 will be. Oh, my God, dude.
No. After there's the 2 weeks of qualifiers.
Yeah, it's April. It'll be in middle of April, yeah.
Is it? You have to wait a month almost?
No, because you play that second round. You play the round of 64 and the round of 32 on the same day. You play 2 series on each console.
In the middle of April?
It's April 9th and 10th.
Oh, April 9th is my birthday.
Oh, nice. So, yeah, it's like 2 weeks after.
I know what I'll be doing unless I don't qualify.
If you guys want to make bank, any gold 1T big-time defenseman, by the time when it's like the 32 guys are about to play, or the 64, they are going to spend... Dude, Justice and Noonan, who was a master set last year in January, was going for like 800,000 coins because he was the meta goalie.
Yeah.
Like, you had to have him. And you're going to see some cards that you wouldn't normally expect go for dumb prices. And I guarantee you Werenski will be one. Like, I think that he would be. But I just don't think there's
going to be one.
Pekka Rinne will be another one. And because the new master sets coming out aren't gigantic, it's going to be a little interesting there. But yeah, I'm... The one thing I'll say... I mean, can I say this? Leak it out, I guess? I will not be allowed to qualify for GWC. Okay, spoiler alert. It looks like, knock on wood, I will not be allowed to qualify for GWC because I'll be working it. Not that I would qualify at all anyways. But, like, obviously that means my interest is, like, even less than it is now because you build the team with, like, okay, I'm going to try for the GWC, right? Like, a lot of HUT players do that. But, man, MLB comes out April 1st. That is a hard switch, and I'm excited for that. I don't know.
All I ask is whenever you're working this thing, you have a podcast to plug at some point.
Dude, you think I should do it?
Dude, well, here's the thing, especially if I'm playing. If you're like doing like I don't know what your role is. I don't know what your role is, but this has been a trial run this year, and it's been a lot of fun. Like, I look forward to this every week. This is like one of the content related things besides streaming that I don't mind doing.
God, dude. This is the one thing that I think has not gotten a piece of negative feedback.
Yeah,
which
there's
is
like one or two comments like you talk over me. We talk about our personal lives too much, random things, but like overall, it's a good thing, right? And it's something I want to continue well past whenever I'm done playing NHL 22 into the summer. So like whatever you can do on the whatever role yours is, like we got to keep this. NHL 23 is going to be a huge year for Coffee and Chell.
oh my god, it's guys, he's already starting 23 is my year tweets
We'll have
already.
yeah, 23s. I told my editor Nathan, I'm like, dude, we're doing good this year. We're gonna be huge in 23.
Oh my god.
We're gonna be. I'm not gonna be huge. Like my skills will diminish, but
I'm
the
just kidding.
content side.
We need a game. So I hate to break it to you, but
I
we
know.
won't have a good game to play.
It doesn't matter. People buy it every year.
It's true. I'm just kidding. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
No, you're right, man. I think that Coffee and Chell is, again, this year has been the best and worst for me as a content creator. This is definitely the lowest of the high portion of my career, and I don't know how much higher I can go. So low, it might just keep going down eventually. But Coffee and Chell has been my favorite portion probably of this year, I think, because there's not been a lot. And we appreciate you guys listening. Like, we wouldn't be able to keep doing this without...
If people didn't listen, we would just be like two dorks.
I'm not gonna
on Sunday.
I'm not getting up on a Sunday night. It's 10 p.m. I usually go to bed around now. Like, I'm not going downstairs and talk with you for an hour and 400 people listen. So
I know, right? I can't believe how many people listen to this.
I can't believe how many people when we can't record it and it doesn't come out on Tuesday, how many DMs and tweets we get.
Oh, there's one more thing I have to say, and I mention this all the time through the podcast. Guys, I stream on Twitch and I post videos on YouTube. There's so many times where somebody goes into my channel and they're like, "Oh, I just thought you were on the podcast. I didn't know you streamed on here." Guys, I stream on Twitch like 4 times a week.
Lunch hour.
Yeah, stop by sometime.
Absolutely, you got to stop by. 100%. Yeah. I mean, I love our podcast, man. And I don't know where we're going to go with it in the summertime. I mean, we have to have Padre on once or he simply won't stop bugging us. So I think we're going to start doing interviews.
Padre might be the first episode that we have a guest.
Yeah, just to make him stop. Like, I think that's it. But no, absolutely. So, guys, again, let us know what you think in the comments section, and don't be join our Discords. You know?
Yeah.
100%.
You can find mine on YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure you sub, dude. If 3,000 people watch this, and Keso's got less than 3,000 subs on YouTube.
I have like 1,700.
I'm mad. If there's 3,000 views, I literally put his YouTube in the description if you're watching this video. So
it's better than Sleeves is. No, I'm just kidding. I don't post that often.
You know what my favorite is about you watching you? Is you are doing exactly what I did 5 years ago. And you're at the port where you can do no wrong. And I love it. You're just having fun, and your tip videos are great. And, like, again, you can do no wrong. All your stuff's so good, man. I'd be worried if you did this full time.
You never have to worry about that. So
you never say never, bro. I didn't think I'd be here either.
You never have to worry about that.
You never know, bro.
Let me justify to my wife, hey, I work in finance. Let me just stop doing this right now with my 2,000 YouTube subscribers. And
all right, when you put it in that context, Twitch. Maybe not. But yeah, all right, guys, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Coffee and Chell. Thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next week. Have a good one, guys.